Welcome to the Monday Night War review. This is Nitro, the WCW side, week 75, the 80th episode. For the 75th week, they go head-to-head. Nitro beats Raw for the 39th week in a row. 39th. The scores were 3.0 to 2.5. Through 75 weeks, Nitro was won 56 times, WWF was won 17, and they've drawed twice. This is the Nitro with the 3.0 rating. The commentary is done by Larry Zbyszko and Tony Schiavone, with Bobby the Brain Heenan and Mike Tenay coming in the second hour in substitution for Zbyszko. From the Duluth Convention Center in Duluth, Minnesota, on March 24th, 1997, this episode is. We open with Konnan taking on Malenko for the U.S. title. Malenko's the champion. Konnan takes Malenko but takes him down and then an Oklahoma roll into a pinfall attempt by Malenko. Konnan then gets out of it with a single leg lock by Malenko to Konnan, rather. The man of 1,000 holds hits a power slam, then goes to work on the left ankle, then torques the left arm. Konnan counters with a hip toss. Another arm wringer exchange, and Dean leapfrogs Konnan, who leapfrogs Malenko, and they go to the Irish whip to the ropes, and they come back and they meet with a standing switch in the center of the ring. Malenko fights back in the match, and off the ropes is caught with a lariat by Konnan, who then hits a deep powerbomb to Dean. Off the ropes, a drop kick by Malenko as he's trying to work on the leg of Konnan to take him off his vertical base. A scoop slam back to Malenko. Off the top, his move is countered by Konnan as he tried to hit a moonsault. Dean Malenko grabs the legs in the center of the ring and turns him over for the Texas Cloverleaf. And the leg work he did earlier in the match ends up being good because Malenko wins with the Texas Cloverleaf. I gave it a star and 3/4. Malenko and Tough needs to defend the title versus Benoit. Spring Stampede. After the match, he says with Mean Gene that everywhere Guerrero goes, he sees Six, and he's going to see what the commonality between Six and Guerrero is, whatever that means. Mortis takes on Jerry Flynn. Mortis is making his Nitro debut. He's like a monster. He's like Kane with martial arts skills, so he's more like a Mortal Kombat character as Mortis. Hip block and a thrust kick by Jerry Flynn. Arm twist back. Mortis hits a big power move in a clothesline lariat. Mortis grabs the throat and into a famouser from the top. Jerry Flynn with a running lariat until he's hit with a sidekick or two. Morris then hits his finisher called the Flatliner and wins. I rated it a star and 1/4. Then La Parka took on Juventud. Air Hoovy flies in the midair, but La Parka caught him and strided around the ring. A head scissors takeover over the top rope. Another springboard offensive move, this time a drop kick. La Parka puts his boot up, then run over by Juventud, who hits a running lariat. La Parka then leaped to the middle rope and came up with a corkscrew, which missed. Then held upside down and twisted around. A suicide dive by La Parka. La Parka wins with a spinning corkscrew move and gets the victory. Rated at 2 stars. The Steiner brothers cut a promo on getting back to where they belong in the tag division. High Voltage took on Public Enemy next. Kenny Chaos and Robbie Rage versus Grunge and Rocco Rock. Double team back body drop to Rage and then a double clothesline to Chaos outside the ring. All four began. The two tandems just brawled inside the ring as the match began. Rocco Rock went on for one of the legs of Rage, and then Kenny Chaos on the apron took his leg and turned him around, and then in a near fall after an inside cradle. He kicks out of it, does Grunge, and then Rocco Rock saved the match as High Voltage are cutting off the half of the ring, making frequent tags. Rocco makes the hot tag to Grunge. Grunge comes in and continues to take both men apart, throwing Rage to the floor, and then Chaos with a body slam to the mat. A somersault plancha by the Public Enemy through a table as they set up the table for Robbie Rage to be put through, and they did so with a somersault plancha through the rope, over the ropes. All of a sudden, Deborah and Jeff Jarrett rock to the ring, and they have a briefcase. Johnny Grunge was hit by Jarrett behind the referee when Robbie Rage was being attended to by the table by the ref. So he turns around, and Kenny Chaos was hit by Johnny Grunge rather was hit, and Kenny Chaos pinned him. And that's how they got the win, thanks to the help from Jarrett and Deborah. Then Mongo came out in the entranceway and didn't know anything about this interference and was complaining about it. 2 stars there. Mean Gene stands with Lex Luger, and he says that the wild card member is Sting, and Sting is a part of WCW, so that's why they have the advantage over the NWO going forward. Psychosis takes on Super Callow. Both men hit some high-risk offense. They didn't do much, but Psychosis hit wins with a guillotine leg drop from the top. A spinning leg drop over the top rope to the head of Super Callow. Sort of a landing lariat there. over the top rope, clotheslining him back into the canvas was the real highlight of the match. Rated at 3/4 of a star. Hour 2 begins with a lot of pyro, and Zbyszko's gone, and Heenan and Tenay are then, with Tony Schiavone. Hugh Morris takes on Chris Benoit. Benoit to the corner and clothesline hard by Hugh Morris. Morris takes down Benoit to the mat, and then Benoit gets a release German suplex to the bigger, stockier Hugh Morris. A diving headbutt, but Conan interfered with the match, and Morris, with the no laughing matter moonsault, wins. So a big upset here. Hugh Morris beats Benoit of the Horsemen. Gave it a star. After the match, the Dungeon of Doom, Sullivan, Conan stomped away on Benoit. Everybody was beating up Benoit until Malenko came with the save, and then they started beating the whole Dungeon of Doom, Sullivan, Conan. They all started beating up Benoit and Malenko until Flair ran in. Flair ran in with his dress shirt on, and he strutted around the ropes as he chopped people and low-blowed people, and Conan got the low blow, Sullivan got chopped. So the Horsemen fought back. Mean Gene does an interview with the leader of the Four Horsemen, Ric Flair, who does the usual Mean Gene. And he cuts a promo on the status of the Horsemen, and we all know that they're doing fine and they're doing great. Harlem Heat versus Bang and Barbarian. The Faces of Fear take on Harlem Heat. Barbarian and Booker T go at it. Stevie Ray and Mang both tagged in. Great fan support in this match from Duluth, Minnesota. Fans chanting for Harlem Heat in this match for Booker T specifically. Mang drops on Booker with a Wilbur Snyder abdominal stretch. Ray comes in with power moves and hits the Harlem Scissors kick for the win. I gave it a 1.5 stars. Steiners versus the Amazing French Canadians. A double flopjack to Scott Steiner, and Ouellette choked him. Scott needs a hot tag and gets it. Rick Steiner drops both guys with clotheslines, and then he hits hard. Both tandems in the ring go at it. Ouellette drops Rick with a pile driver. Amazing French Canadians with a double team, and then he hits his own partner with a belt accidentally, and Rick pins him that way. Dodging a huge bullet that would have been had Scott Steiner, not been on the ball, but he was. Medusa took on Malia Hosaka. As Medusa wants more women's matches on Nitro, she's pressed for that. Medusa with a Boston Crab against her. Hosaka took it to her, a snapmare into a reverse chinlock. Medusa hits a snapmare or 2 or 3, and then she hits 4 of them by the hair. Medusa takes a pinning predicament. Then Medusa blocks a crucifix, a sunset flip, but Medusa comes out as a Hosaka kicks the leg out. A German suplex to the bridge by Medusa, and that's it. Gave it a 1.25 stars. Jim Duggan took on the Renegade, and Jim Duggan's over as ever with his ho. A goal behind in a standing switch as the fans chant for USA. Duggan takes the Renegade apart and defeats him. I rated it a 1 star. They show clips of Sting dropping from the ceiling above last week to take on the NWO, partnering up with WCW. The main event was Prince Aoki defending his TV title against Randy Savage as Macho Man makes his in-ring return. He hasn't fought since October. And this is spring of 1997, so it's his first match while part of the NWO. Prince Aoki has had a pretty good run as TV champion. Macho Man comes out with all the NWO except for Hogan and Hall. That's two random people to be gone. I could see maybe Hogan because he's the leader, but one half of the outsiders not there. Nash was there, but Hall and Hogan were in the backstage area. So this is Prince Aoki versus Randy Savage in the main event. This is for the TV title. Sorry, I just had to check that. The DDP comes running through the crowd during the match, and what happened was all the members of the NWO were staring at DDP, and they sort of parted like the Red Sea. They all went their which way, so DDP and Savage could have the hard cam looking at both of them. And an elbow drop off the top, and he pulled up Prince Aoki while looking at DDP and Savage. And DDP eventually got in the ring, and it was a DQ. Savage won by interference from DDP. That does it for the matches portion. I rated the match a star. After the match, fans chant, "We want Sting." A jackknife powerbomb by Nash. Savage comes off with the elbow to DDP, so DDP gets the hell beat out of him by the NWO. Bischoff drops DDP with a martial arts kick. Savage spray paints Aoki and DDP with NWO and puts a big 0 on DDP's back. I gave this Nitro a 5 out of 10 because everything seemed average. And they were building towards Spring Stampede. Next week is the go-home show, so I'll have that review up. This was Nitro with less than 2 weeks to Spring Stampede 1997. I'm Brett Mix, and we'll see you guys on the next one.